All right, you guys, I'm back with another episode of Art and Our Entertainment, and I think these are all the books that I showed you guys in my anticipated comics. You got Monster, you got Batman Dark Patterns, One World Under Doom, issue 4, Medieval Spawn, issue 2, Immortal Thor, issue 23. Yeah, yeah, see it. Yeah, I got all of them. Okay, so let me see. Let me talk. Let me figure out which one I want to talk about first. The Immortal Thor. I liked Immortal Thor. I like how I read all these pretty much last night, but I like how Immortal Thor. It seems like each issue that I get is this. I really enjoy how each issue is like a. Almost feels like a movie. It almost it's each it feels like each issue is its own self-contained story, and there was a lot of action in here. It started off in a way where it was showing us the history of like a certain god that I wasn't familiar with, but nonetheless, it was so entertaining. It was so entertaining. I was like, man, this feels like a movie, and that's what I got from the other issue that I read, but it wasn't issue 22. It was like issue 17 or 16 or something like that. It ended with Thor fighting this guy, and there was a gate behind the other guy who Thor's in front of, and beyond that gate there was Thanos. So I was like, oh man, that was crazy. Um, but and even that was really good. Like he was in the forest. Anyways, I'm getting each story. I feel like there's a lot of meat and potatoes, and I like how this he fought this big god, man, and it was incredible. It showed the villain that he fought. It felt like most half, or at least half of the comic was about telling the the villain side of the story, or not even so much a villain, but this God side of the story, because he was the ruler, the God of gods at the time when the issue started, just showing his origin and mythology, and then there was another God. There's always a bigger and badder God, and then you know he cowered away, and then eventually that same God that was ferocious and the God of gods at a certain time ended up fighting Thor, and the design of this particular God that they make the antagonist for this comic book is absolutely uh, terrifying to see. You know what I'm saying? He just looks like a unit, but yeah, he goes toe to toe with Thor, and I really love how Thor looks in this. He doesn't look like super tall. He almost looks like he almost just looks like he's like 6'1" or something like that. But he just like he has the look though. I'm like, man, yeah, like okay, like he looks chiseled though. He looks like a unit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, but it was good though. Hopefully, I did that some justice. I really like that. Monsters, I really like Monsters. The Slayer is my absolute favorite character in the Monsters universe thus far, and the werewolf. I love werewolves too, but I really like how this guy is. He spent a long, long time. I don't even know how old he is. I feel like he's like got to be over 100 or something. But he spent so much. He's. I feel like he's got to be a couple centuries old or something like that because he spent so much time um, hunting monsters. He was fighting along Van Helsing and who did he say he was fighting? Who did he say? Um, oh no, that was issue 4. Well, he was talking about the Slayer was talking about how fighting monsters was so much easier when he had people like Van Helsing and all these other names back in the day that were fighting alongside him. They're basically like a football. They're basically like the Avengers of monster hunters and killers. So it's really cool that Mark Spears has really integrated his style into the monster mythos that we already know that's attached with werewolves and Dr. Jekyll and Hyde and Dracula and Frankenstein. I think it's said Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, I believe. So he's really just like making. He's operating in that universe, but he's making it his own. Different origin stories for how these characters have certain names and how they became, the characters that we know, but just with his spin. So I really like that. Um, right when it starts, he attacks, he kills Dr. Jekyll. You know what I mean? The doctor was telling him how, he says, he tells him, he said, he said, I had heard you retired. I thought maybe you finally had your fill of this world and all its monsters you can never truly destroy. But still, you came back one last time to save it, didn't you? I never had a doubt. So they have these conversations, and he's like, I'm glad that you're going to be the one to put me down. He said, because Mr. Hyde, he's like, I got rid of Mr. Hyde. You know what I mean? I'm no longer him. I'm no longer letting him out of the box. And you can see he has these vials and all this. And, the Slayer's like, he's not having. He's like, pow! He just kills Dr. Jekyll. And he's like, he says, after you see Dr. Jekyll just lying in, he's lying in a vial of that, that goo, the the hide goo. I don't know. But he says right here as he's standing over him after he shot him, he's looking over him and he's looking down at him. He says, you were once a good man, Jekyll. But right now, I need all the help I can get, even from a monster. So, yeah, man. And then, one of the highlights of this for me is that, the werewolf is front and center. You see him, maybe I don't know if I you see him front and center, after a grisly encounter. And dude, look at the Slayer, dude. This dude is just awesome. He has stakes right there. Like he's ready for whatever. Got the red eyes. He's got the hat, the brim. Dude, this dude looks so damn dope. He looks like a mixture between like Zorro meets Blade meets I don't know. I don't know, Shadow Man or something. I don't know. This dude looks awesome, and just Mark Spears' work, man. It just looks like, it just looks like a movie. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Like, who draws like that? What? My biggest highlight of this, and I don't want to show too much, but my biggest highlight of this is, you know, the werewolf and Slayer going at it, dude. So the kids were running. The kids were running from him. That's why there was kids in this, because the story, part of the story follows these kids that are just getting into mischief, like we all did when we were kids, and they're running. They're running from. They're trying to run on this tower, run up this tower, this water tower, and escape the werewolf. And so, like I said, part of the highlight of this, or no, it was the highlight of this comic book for me, was that the werewolf is confronted by the Slayer. So he basically saves the children with his fire ass car. Yeah. So he just jumps out and does does the Matrix on him, and then the wolf is like, "Argh." So he's leaking blood and he just attacks him, tackles him, spears his ass, and they're going at it, bruh. They're going at it. Yo, like what? He swipes at him. He smacks him with his claw. And then Slayer comes right back with an elbow. Boom! And a kick. I'm like, dude, this dude Slayer is the shit. Who is this guy? So yeah, that was dope. I really like this. I'm gonna get as many of these as I can. Like I said, in other comics, in other videos, I was talking about how I got issue 1, 4, 5, and 6. I haven't gotten 2 and 3 because I can't find 2 and 3. I think actually Third Eye Comic just got issue 1. So I'm going to get not issue 1, excuse me. I think they just got issue 2. So I'm going to get that, you know what I mean? Because I just really like these. I think these are worth just just getting, even with that price tag being what it is, $6. Because I mean, the art is phenomenal. I mean, I feel good paying for art that's phenomenal, and the story is good too. The story gives you a lot. You know, there's so much I didn't show you guys in there. There was a reveal of a character, multiple characters, and I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you know, I've shared enough of the monsters.